Puerto Rico is a Caribbean island full of beautiful beaches, mountains, and the El Yunque National Forest. This U.S. territory lies to the east of the Dominican Republic and, in my opinion, has something for pretty much every type of traveler. Whether you love the big city, hiking in nature, or just being a beach bum, Puerto Rico pretty much has you covered. We spent 4 full days here with 2 days on each end of that for travel time, making for 6 days total. Truthfully, an extra day or 2 would be preferable, but you can still do a lot in just 4 days. So first things first, where should you stay? A lot of tourists opt to stay in San Juan where the action is. This is definitely a great option if you enjoy the city and nightlife, but for us, we definitely wanted a more relaxed feel. So depending on what you want to do, you'll want to figure out your home base around that. We booked our stay with credit card points and ended up staying at the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve. This hotel is located about 15 minutes from Rio Grande or less than an hour's drive from the San Juan airport. I'll be honest, I absolutely loved staying here. We had an AC issue our first night, which they were super quick to address, and ultimately ended up getting upgraded to a stunning oceanfront room. This was super generous of the staff and we very much appreciated it. Room aside, the property is just beautiful. There's a massive pool with a swim-up bar, several restaurants on site, and so much space to just hang out on or near the beach. There's even like a really cool hammock area that you can go sneak off to and relax. I never thought I would be a resort person, but I think this place officially converted me. If you like having everything you need nearby, I would say this is a good option. To travel around to all of our excursions, we opted to rent a car. I always use Enterprise to rent vehicles, so we went with them and we reserved an SUV, which I would recommend because the roads, while they aren't terrible, they're not really the best either. Having a bigger car to get around in just seemed to make sense to me.
Whoa, gas is so cheap. It's like 95 cents, right? Well, it's 95 cents per liter, not per gallon. So now I have to figure out how many liters is in a gallon, and then how many dollars do I have to tell them that I need?
Well, a liter is less than a gallon.
Yeah, it's like 0.26. 20 liters would be 5 gallons. So if I gave...
Okay.
But, so if I gave them... so that's... it's like almost $20. Yeah, because it's like 95 cents. So that would be 5 gallons. Confused. And he came to the front and he like kind of looked surprised, I guess, seeing me again. So I was like, I didn't realize it was liters and not gallons, and he laughed.
Now that you have your hotel booked, your car reserved, and you know how to buy gas, it's time to figure out what you want to do. The top of our list was to hike in the El Yunque National Forest, and it was one of the highlights of our trip. El Yunque is the only tropical rainforest in the National Forest system. El Yunque is home to lush vegetation, coqui frogs, numerous waterfalls, and some pretty awesome hikes. Being a rainforest, I recommend being prepared and bringing a raincoat or a poncho just in case. We actually got super lucky and had a perfect day of no rain, but I know that's definitely not always the case. By the way, I heard it pronounced both Yunque and Junque, so I'm inclined to believe that either option works. We just finished up at the visitor center. It was really cute, but you don't have to go into the visitor center if you just want to explore the trails and the waterfalls. From here, we headed up towards Yokahu Tower, which is a 69-foot tower built in the 1960s by Dr. Frank Wadsworth, a former forest supervisor. From the top of this tower, you can see miles of the surrounding forest. It was super busy up here, but the views were definitely worth it. We then decided to check out Juan Diego Creek to cool off and see the waterfall. area and got under the waterfall. It felt so good. I have been hot all day and that water was so cold in the best way ever. It is almost 1 o'clock and it was popping there. It was super busy, lots of people, but of course everybody is really nice. Like if you want to take photos or videos, everybody was like taking turns to do that, so that was really cool. If you're in El Yunque, you can't miss Baño Grande, Spanish for big bath or big pool. This pool was operational between the years 1935 and 1968. While you can't swim in it anymore, it's still a beautiful historic site to explore. After exploring Baño Grande, we started the hike up to the Mount Britain Tower. This stone tower was built around 1938 and offers a panoramic view of the forest, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Caribbean Sea. This is a fairly short hike, so we took our time admiring nature and hoping to see some wildlife. Surprisingly, we didn't see any animals, but we did see this massive snail, which is literally the biggest snail I've ever seen. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but it was massive. Luckily, we had no need for it, but here to the left is a rain shelter. I can imagine that plenty of hikers have used this. Activity goal achieved. So we're walking up to the Mount Britain Tower, and the first part of the trail was really nice, like super shaded in the rainforest, gorgeous. But this last part, you're just on like a paved asphalt road, so it's pretty hot, lots of sun. The Mount Britain Tower was so cool. Going up this stone passageway was so fun, but be warned, it is super narrow. You can hardly fit like more than one person through here at a time. If you're considering making this hike, definitely do it. The views from up here were incredible. We could see both the Atlantic and the Caribbean Sea on each side, as well as the rest of the forest and El Yunque Peak. From up here at the top, we could also see the parking lot where we parked our car. I didn't track this hike, but online sources showed that the hike is about 0.8 miles or about 45 minutes one way. After finishing our hike at El Yunque, we stopped at Degree 18 Juice Bar in Rio Grande, and it was such a cute place to hang out. We both had a beer and veggie burgers, but they had a lot of other plant-based options too, including smoothies and juices. Another excursion we went on was kayaking Laguna Grande, the Bioluminescent Bay. While bio bays exist around the world, only a handful produce bioluminescence year-round. Puerto Rico is so unique in that it has 3 bioluminescent bays. It's difficult to pick up the glow on camera, so I literally have no footage of this except this photo that the tour operator took. The glow was incredibly vivid, and when the water ran through your hands, it looked like miniature stars shimmering in your palm. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As far as beaches, there's plenty of options in Puerto Rico. Since we stayed on the northeastern side of the island, we spent some time at Punta Bandera and Luquillo Beach as well. Punta Bandera was really chill, and Skylar was able to snorkel here and saw quite a few fish, sea urchins, and a barracuda. One thing I will say, personally, the sand at both beaches was not my favorite, but the water was really beautiful. The water at Luquillo Beach particularly felt really refreshing and very clean. Today we're visiting Old San Juan, and we definitely got a later start today. We're currently sitting in line hoping to get some parking. We went to the La Puntilla parking lot, which is really close to Old San Juan. To park here, it's only $3 for the day, so just be sure to bring some cash. So actually they let a couple cars into the lot, but then they closed it again. So we are waiting along with a couple other people. Don't be like us, actually get up early like you said you would and get here to park early in the morning. Once you find a parking spot, I recommend just setting out to explore Old San Juan without a destination in mind. We wandered into the first coffee shop we found to get some iced lattes, then explored the shops and just took in all the colorful buildings. One specific thing we were hoping to see was the umbrellas on Fortaleza Street, but unfortunately they weren't up during our visit. One thing to note is the iconic blue cobblestone streets. These cobblestones are made of stone cast from the ballast of Spanish ships and contribute to Old San Juan's unique and historic character. San Juan is a popular cruise ship port, so there are plenty of shops, restaurants, and bars that cater to tourists. Just definitely expect some crowds while you're here. Once you've taken in the colorful streets, head up to Castillo San Cristóbal and tour this historic landmark. Completed in 1783, this fortress was built by the Spanish to protect against land-based attacks on the city of Old San Juan. Castillo San Cristóbal is the largest fortification built by the Spanish in the New World and is considered a World Heritage Site. You do have to pay to visit the fortress. We paid $20 for the two of us, and make sure to hang on to your receipt because if you show that receipt, you'll be able to get into the other fortress, El Morro. Named after the patron saint of land travelers, St. Christopher, Castillo San Cristóbal contains 3 levels, including numerous sentry boxes, an extensive system of tunnels, and 5 cisterns that could store up to 716,000 gallons of rainwater, which was capable of sustaining the fort for a year. As you explore the fortress, you'll get to enjoy some amazing views of the city, and you'll get to explore some narrow, creepy stairwells just like this one. On the 3rd level, enjoy the beautiful views and the wind coming up over the ocean to cool you down. One mistake that we made was visiting Castillo San Cristóbal around 3 p.m., which is one of the hottest parts of the day. If it wasn't for the wind cooling us down and drinking lots of water, I 100% would have been sick. It was so hot, so humid, so save yourself the trouble and definitely plan your visit during the morning hours. If you're up for more sightseeing and kept your entrance receipt, walk 15 minutes to the other fortress, El Morro. King Charles V of Spain ordered construction of this citadel in 1539, and fortifications continued to occur over the next 200 years. It rises 140 feet from the Atlantic Ocean and has walls varying from 18 to 25 feet thick. This fort consists of 6 levels and once guarded the entrance into San Juan Bay. Like Castillo San Cristóbal, El Morro is also designated a World Heritage Site. We explored some of the lower levels, including these massive kitchens used to cook for the soldiers that lived here. We were here just before closing at 5 p.m., so we were in a hurry to see what we could before we had to leave. The remainder of our time spent in Old San Juan was just spent exploring the streets. By this time, it was around 5:30 or so, and it had cooled down and felt so much better. We stopped at Parque de las Palomas, a park that sits on top of a section of the massive city wall that once surrounded Old San Juan. The name means Park of the Pigeons, and you can see people feeding the hundreds of pigeons that live here. Definitely not on my to-do list, but really fun to watch. That's all for our 4-day trip to Puerto Rico. There's still so much to explore, like the surfer town of Rincon, Cabo Rojo, and the islands of Vieques and Culebra. If you're planning your own trip, I do hope this video was helpful to you. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.